Naomi Brooks walked into the office, hopeful and determined, only to have her resume torn apart by a manager who sneered, "People like you don't belong here." Years later, she's the new CEO, and that same man is begging for a second chance. What she did next will shock you. But let's start from the beginning. In the bustling heart of downtown Chicago, the gleaming headquarters of Reynolds and Partners towered over the city streets, its sleek glass facade shimmering in the morning sunlight. The building was a beacon of corporate power, its name synonymous with success and influence. Inside, the air buzzed with the hum of ambition, clicking heels on polished marble floors, the murmur of high-stakes conversations, and the distant ring of phones handling million-dollar deals. Naomi Brooks, a poised and determined woman in her late 20s, stepped into the lobby, her nerves dancing beneath her confident exterior. Dressed in a tailored navy blazer, crisp white blouse, and sensible heels, she clutched her resume tightly, its edges slightly creased from her grip. Her dark curls framed a face of quiet strength, her warm brown eyes scanning the opulent space. Today, she was here to carve a place for herself in the competitive world of marketing strategy. A role at one of the city's most prestigious firms could change everything. At the reception desk, a polished woman greeted Naomi with a professional smile, directing her toward Carl Peterson's office. The corridor was lined with modern artwork and frosted glass partitions that offered glimpses of sleek conference rooms filled with sharply dressed executives. Naomi straightened her shoulders and took a deep breath before entering the hiring manager's domain. Carl Peterson, a middle-aged man with salt and pepper hair and a demeanor honed by years of wielding authority, barely glanced up as Naomi entered. His tailored suit and air of casual superiority seemed to dominate the room. "Have a seat," he said, gesturing toward a chair without enthusiasm, his tone edged with indifference. Naomi sat down and presented her credentials, her voice steady as she highlighted her top honors from Howard University and her success leading marketing campaigns for a nonprofit. Carl skimmed her resume, his mouth curving into a faint sneer. "Howard? Not exactly Harvard, is it?" Naomi's heart tightened, but her voice remained calm. "Howard produces some of the brightest minds in the country, sir. My achievements speak for themselves." Carl's chuckle was cold. Rising from his chair, he tore her resume in half and let the pieces drift to the floor. "We're looking for someone who fits our culture," he said, his laughter trailing behind him as he walked away. Naomi sat frozen, her humiliation quickly hardening into resolve. Months turned into a relentless whirlwind of hard work as Naomi Brooks dedicated herself to building Brooks & Company from nothing. Armed with determination and fueled by the sting of past humiliation, she worked tirelessly from her small apartment, which doubled as her office. Her days stretched into nights as she crafted marketing strategies, designed campaign proposals, and cold-called potential clients. The early months were grueling. Doors slammed in her face, emails went unanswered, and rejections piled up. Yet, each setback only strengthened her resolve. Naomi's breakthrough came when she landed her first client, a struggling local bakery on the verge of closure. Using her expertise in digital marketing and grassroots outreach, she crafted a campaign that not only saved the bakery, but transformed it into a beloved community brand. Word spread quickly, and Naomi's reputation for innovation began to grow. Small businesses saw her as a beacon of hope, and her client list steadily expanded. The turning point came when a tech startup Naomi supported with a bold and unconventional campaign went viral, catapulting the company into national prominence. The story of the campaign's success swept across media outlets, with Naomi's name prominently featured as the mastermind behind the strategy. Within weeks, investors and major clients were vying for her services, and Brooks & Company transitioned from a fledgling firm to a rising powerhouse in the marketing industry. In just 2 years, Naomi had built a company that rivaled corporate giants like Reynolds & Partners. Her firm's innovative campaigns set industry standards, and her name was celebrated as a visionary in the business world. At a prestigious gala honoring successful entrepreneurs, Naomi's trajectory collided with her past. Amid the glittering chandeliers and murmurs of admiration, she spotted Carl Peterson laughing among a circle of executives. Naomi approached with quiet confidence, her striking presence turning heads. "Mr. Peterson," she said, her voice calm yet laced with purpose. "It's been a while." Carl turned, his expression blank, before realization dawned. His smirk faltered, replaced by unease. "Ms. Brooks," he stammered, "I didn't expect to see you here." Naomi's smile widened, sharp as a blade. "Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it?" she replied, her tone carrying a weight he could not ignore. Months after their fateful encounter, Reynolds & Partners was unraveling. The once revered corporate giant was mired in financial troubles, losing key clients to younger, more innovative firms. Internally, whispers of mismanagement and unethical practices swirled, culminating in a high-profile investigation into Carl Peterson for discriminatory hiring practices. As public scrutiny intensified, Carl's position as hiring manager grew increasingly tenuous, and his grip on the company slipped further with each passing day. Meanwhile, Brooks & Company thrived. Naomi's firm secured a series of high-value contracts that Reynolds had fought to win, solidifying Brooks & Company's reputation as the industry's rising star. Each contract represented a symbolic victory over her former adversary, and the gap between the two companies widened dramatically. Naomi's name became synonymous with innovation, resilience, and leadership, while Reynolds & Partners became a cautionary tale of outdated practices and internal discord. The tipping point came with an announcement that shook the business world. Brooks & Company was acquiring Reynolds & Partners in a landmark corporate deal. Industry analysts were stunned. Just 2 years earlier, Reynolds had been the unchallenged titan, while Brooks & Company was a fledgling firm. The news spread like wildfire, and Carl Peterson found himself scrambling to secure his position within the company. At the first joint board meeting following the acquisition, Carl walked into the sleek conference room with trepidation. The air was thick with tension as he adjusted his tie and surveyed the room. His gaze landed on the head of the table, where Naomi Brooks sat, her demeanor poised and commanding. Before her, a polished nameplate read, "Naomi Brooks, CEO." The room fell into a stunned silence. Naomi's calm gaze swept across the leadership team, her presence exuding authority. "Welcome to the new era," she said, her voice warm yet resolute, each word carrying the weight of transformation. Carl shifted in his seat, beads of sweat forming on his brow as the full impact of the moment settled over him. The tables had turned, and Naomi Brooks was now in control. Carl was summoned to Naomi's office the following week. As he entered, he saw a familiar sight: his own torn resume, framed and hanging on the wall. Naomi leaned back in her chair, her gaze steady. "I'm a big believer in second chances," she said calmly, "but only for those willing to grow. Tell me, Carl, how do you plan to contribute to this company's future?" Carl fumbled for words, his arrogance now replaced with desperation. Naomi listened, but remained unmoved. "You can stay," she finally said, "but you'll start at the bottom, where everyone deserves a fair shot. Or you can leave. The choice is yours." Carl opted to leave, his pride unable to handle the reversal of power. Under Naomi's leadership, Reynolds and Partners transformed into a beacon of inclusivity and innovation. Naomi's story inspired countless others, a testament to resilience, justice, and the undeniable power of character.